Guys, what's up? It's Olivia. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have another Bachelor recap slash review. This one on episode 2, week 2 of Peter's run of The Bachelor. I'm just gonna go in chronological order and kind of talk about the stuff as it happened. I feel like this episode was really short. Please let me know your comments and opinions down below and let me know who your top picks are. So starting off the episode, we saw Hannah Brown and Peter having a conversation, and Hannah was maybe going to come back. One, I'm mad at the producers for even letting her come back. A lot of you guys have mentioned, a lot of people online have mentioned that they were just using her for ratings, having her come back. Because in the past, if a former Bachelor contestant is coming to help, it's not the person they just dated. So I feel like that was really weird and really messy, especially because they know how much those two loved each other and knew that Hannah wasn't happily ever after right now. I don't know what they were thinking, but I'm really glad that Peter was like, nope, I'm gonna move on. Hannah's now in the past. Also really did appreciate how he just canceled that part of the date and then went to the after party. He felt bad. He said he felt bad. He felt like a jerk. He felt like he was standing them up. But if he wasn't in the headspace for this, the last thing anyone wants to do is hang out with someone whose mind is clearly somewhere else. So I think it was good that he was like, I'm so sorry, but I need to collect myself and we can meet up later and have one-on-one time and talk with each of you. Now, several of the girls did not like that. Natasha and Sydney were having a really hard time about it. And then Natasha even brought it up to him again at the after party during her one-on-one time. Now, I have mixed emotions and comments and feelings about this. So for one, I feel like Peter had already said, this is in the past. I'm so sorry this happened. It's not gonna happen again. I feel terrible. Let's have a fun night. So at that point, there's not much you can say, so why are you gonna dwell on this thing that's irritating you? He just said, it's not gonna happen again, and he's sorry. So why not use that time to talk about yourself? Now that's exactly what McKenna did. I liked her better this episode. She's the fashion blogger from Canada, but I'll talk more about her later. But I feel like that was a smart, strategic move to kind of move on and not dwell on the things that they did that day. Now Natasha kind of she didn't freak out on him, but she spoke her mind and was like, hey, I'm not cool with this. Is this gonna keep happening again? Because I've given up, a lot to be here. And that's the thing too, yes, these women have only been here for I don't know, 3 days at this point, but the process for even becoming a Bachelor contestant is really intense. You can look it up online, but there's application you send in-person casting calls, and then if you get called out to the weekend thing, you have all these interviews, fill out all these questionnaires, have a psych eval. It's a really intense process, not to mention they spend literally thousands of dollars on these dresses and all of their clothes so that they're ready for TV. But they possibly have jobs that they are either taking vacation from or taking leave from. They still have rent and apartment stuff that they're having to pay for while they're there. So I can see where she's coming from. Yo, I put my life on hold to be here, and if you're still not over your ex, then why are we even making this show? So I understand her emotions that way. Good for her for speaking her mind, but I also think that at that point, there really wasn't, it wasn't going to change anything. He knew everyone was mad at him. Now I mentioned McKenna. I think she was very, strategic with that move. Something that I feel like I've noticed, I was talking with my friends earlier and they said they noticed it too, so let me know what your thoughts are. But in the past, the Bachelor and Bachelorette was typically people in their older 20s, early 30s being like, what the heck, maybe this will work and I'll find love this way. They came on the show, they got engaged, whatever, would date in the real world, and everyone would go back to their normal lives. But because of social media, that's completely changed things. It's completely changed things in a lot of ways. One, if you go on The Bachelor, you're almost guaranteed to get a bunch of followers, even if you're just there for a night or two. So I feel like some of the motivation for coming on the show now is I can make it big on social media and maybe become an influencer. Now, especially if you're gonna cause a lot of drama or know kind of what to do to get on TV, then you have more of a chance to be on Bachelor in Paradise. Additionally, I have noticed that contestants now, I actually noticed this with Tyler from last season. While he was on the show, I went through and was looking through his Instagram because I was like, oh my gosh, he does like construction with his dad. Like, that's so awesome. Like, that's so cool. And then for the past like year and a half, he had been posting basically modeling photos, like professionally taken modeling photos. So people are like curating, like preparing for the show beforehand. It's not just, oh, let's see if there's a connection, let's date. Yeah, it's this kind of weird situation, but who knows, it might work. People prepare their social medias and other things for this show. Now, Kelsey had called Hannah Ann calculated. She called her about the champagne thing, which we will get to. I feel like Hannah Ann and McKenna are calculated or strategic in the way that they've seen the show, they know how it works, they've noticed, like they're already in the world of online. One is a fashion blogger and the other is a model. So they're aware of social media and what can happen from the show. So maybe they are sweet girls, maybe they do want to be with Peter, but I also feel like they know what to say to put on a good show for him and how to put on a good show for the camera so that they're getting airtime. Is this right or wrong of them to do? I don't know. I just don't really like how the Bachelor and Bachelorette has changed now to where it was I'm genuinely looking for love, and now it's how many people can I kiss and hook up with? How far can I get on so I can get other social media influencer opportunities? Okay, now the champagne thing. That, it was almost hurting my brain cells to spend like, I don't know, an hour arguing about who opened whom's champagne. Who opened whose champagne? Who opened whom's champagne? Who opened Kelsey's champagne? Again, I can see, you know, Kelsey, she's been in this house for a few days. They have no social media. Tensions are high. Who knows, it could have been like 1 in the morning because these things take so long to film. So I get her emotional reaction of like, oh my god, I had this planned and like now it's ruined. Was it kind of extreme? Yeah, but you know, you get in those moods where like you're tired or stuff's going on, you're in a weird unknown situation, and so your emotions just kind of take over. So that, whatever, I think that's fine. That's life. But what I don't think was okay was when then she kept accusing Hannah that she knew what she did and blah blah blah. When like you could tell from like Hannah's face and all that, there was genuinely a mistake. There was a second bottle of champagne set up. The producers clearly led them to that bottle and they mixed it up. Did they mix it up on purpose? Maybe, but I don't think Hannah or Peter had anything to do with it. I also think it was not okay or smart of Kelsey to then like go cuss Hannah out in front of Peter, because then the next day when Hannah was like, she's bullying me, then he was like, I can see that because I literally watched her like say this stuff to you. Now during that night though, Hannah like tried to go to apologize to whatever. Kelsey was like, no, I don't want anything to deal with this, like you know what you did, blah blah blah. And Hannah was like, fine, like we're moving on, whatever, I'm done with this. But then all of a sudden the next night, that whole group date the next day, Kelsey was fine to her. It didn't seem like they had any interaction. She wasn't like hating on her. Just avoiding somebody, like that's fine. Sometimes you need to do that to keep the peace. But like she didn't do anything. If she had been all rude to Hannah the next day, I could see Hannah being like, hey, this stuff's going on, like da 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 da. But she wasn't, so I thought it was really weird how literally 24 hours before Hannah was like, I'm done with this, like we're putting this to rest, and then all of a sudden wanted to bring it up to Peter. Also in the past, that person is always the one who gets sent home, the one who does the tattletaling. They get sent home. Overall, that whole champagne thing I think was stupid. I think it was an honest mistake. Understand Kelsey getting emotional, but I don't think then like cussing her out and not believing her that she didn't know was okay. Lastly, I just wanted to mention the group date with Victoria F. Doing the model runway stuff. I felt so bad for her. I felt so bad for her. You could tell like the social anxiety was real. You could tell that she was definitely out of her comfort zone and that she had low self-confidence or low self-esteem in that situation. So I felt really bad for her beforehand, because, you know, you think, oh, I would totally be good at this, group setting, like I can compete, whatever. But then when you're actually there and in it, that's a different story, especially when you have low self-confidence. There are days where like you might feel fine, and then certain days or situations where you just really don't and don't want to be around anybody. So I felt so bad for her in that situation. I felt so good when she was feeling confident in herself, and then I was rolling my eyes and really annoyed when she was like crying after she didn't win, because she was like, I just want him to see me, blah blah. Okay, he saw you. You kissed him, and you got like second place. Yeah, you didn't win, but you were one of the top like final 2 or whatever, and he was definitely going to talk to you later that night. I think she was the first person he talked to later that night. So that kind of got me like eyes rolling kind of thing. So I was like, okay, like I got it earlier, but now you're just being a baby because you got second. That's my thoughts. So going forward in the season, oh my gosh, that preview. My friend saw on Twitter that you know, people are trying to piece together, like, you know, Peter's talking about, why is it so bad to sleep with everybody? First of all, buddy, maybe it means nothing to you, but it means a lot to other people. Also, you can spread diseases. But one person was joking that, you know, when Chris Harrison goes to him and is like, hey, there's something we just found out, then Peter's like, oh my God, I need to pass out. Was Chris Harrison saying someone's pregnant? And that's why you don't sleep around with people. But yeah, anyway, so I thought that was really funny earlier. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that that is the direction that this show is going. It just seems very sleazy to me now. And that's fine if people want to, you know, sleep together after knowing each other for 2 weeks. Like, it's their life, but I don't know. I think it's weird, especially when you're dating like 15 people at once. And also, like, not everybody does that, you know? Like, not everybody sleeps on the 3rd date or whatever. So I don't know, I think it's weird. But front runners, I really still love Madison. I think she'll be top 4. I really like Kelly. I think she'll be definitely top 5, maybe top 4. I think Hannah Ann will be top 4. McKenna is gonna go pretty far, I think, as well. It was nice getting to talk to, or not get to talk to, but like see more interaction with Sydney and with Victoria F this week. So I feel like they'll be there for several weeks. And I do think that there are going to be several girls that we haven't really seen much of, that in like 3 or 4 weeks they're going to be like, oh, where'd they come from? Okay, he like really likes them. They're just, you know, normal and not causing drama. So we haven't seen them thus far. I don't think he's going to keep Kelsey for much longer. I feel like she'll go home next week. And I don't really remember anyone else's names on the show. So what are your predictions? Tell me in the comments down below. What were your thoughts on this episode? And who do you think he is going to send home next? Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for another episode next week. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.